test the mast. Every sailboat has one, and without them would just be motorboaters. And provided they're free of structural defects and well maintained, and you match your sail areas to the conditions, then it shouldn't be a problem. We're here in Lymington today with a westerly force 5 to 7, occasionally 8, because we want to break it. Our consultants today, we've got Paul Lees from Crusader Sails, who's, amongst other things, broken 3 masts before, so he's our primary source of experience. We've also got Jerry the rigger, Jerry Harwood. He's here helping us out.
The only thing that we can predict is that we don't know exactly what's going to happen. There's an enormous number of variables as to how the mast goes over the side. Under normal circumstances, it happens completely by surprise. We're going to be trying to be reasonably controlled today, but the only thing I can guarantee is that it will end up over the side in bits.
Absolutely anything could happen. This is the reason for doing this, to try and see if there is any regularity in the way things break when certain shrouds break. It could fall forwards, it could fall backwards, sideways. We'll wait and see.
It is quite alarming how everything changes when the mast comes down, because the motion of the boat is the first noticeable thing. The motion changes completely, and sometimes it's quite difficult to keep your footing, so keeping everybody on board is the first concern.
All right, well, given the fact that nobody knows exactly what's going to happen, the plan we've got is to break the mast just above the first spreaders, and to do that we're going to leave these in place. These two, we're going to replace these massive stainless steel pins here with short fiberglass ones. So when we tack, these fiberglass pins, the replacement pins, should break, and the mast should break above the first spreaders.
And obviously the big lumps of metal sweeping the deck. We can get into all sorts of scenarios where the mast is going to stick in the mud if it goes over in one piece. And if I ask you to do something, if I ask you to stop what you're doing, come off, go forward, please do it. So a nice frisky little day. The wind is pretty much due west at the moment. We've seen over 30 knots. The wind is with tide, and we've got some fairly substantial waves for the sheltered western Solent. We've had a little bit of a play about, but we've got the mainsail nicely snugged down now with its third reef point, which is a regulation IRC 40% of the luff, and we're nicely under control at the moment. Everybody ready? Yep. Okay, are we ready about? Big set, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking for the big set. Leo. Glass fibre. We've just had quite a large boat, a 40-foot boat, going to windward in 30 knots of wind or more. The only thing that's holding the mast up is a bit of glass fibre sail batten replacing the clevis pin. We're now just changing down to a smaller diameter, a lighter fuse in other words, to see if we can get it to break. Leo. Oh, that'll do it. Okay, that did it. Right, stand by, just settle for a minute.
Is everybody okay? Yeah, good. Find this wire behind you.
Right. Okay, can we get the backstay forward?
Well, it works. second fuse works. We accidentally let out more Genoa than we planned, and when we were trying to grind it in, that's what did it. Well, so much for the first spreader plan. That seems to be about the level of planning you can do here.
We're gradually turning round at the moment. The rig is acting like a sea anchor, and the wind's blowing our stern down, and the tide's taking the stern down as well, so it's going to end up somewhere over the bows. Our first job is to secure the stump, and I think the next job is get the boom off of the mast if we can. Right. What we want is the starboard rigging off. It's broken in at least one place at the moment. I don't know what's happening down there. It's broken below, just below the lower spreaders, where the forward and after lowers are connected. It's the weakest part of the mast. There's maximum, a lot of holes in it there.
Okay, got some cable cutters here. So just going to go cutting this wire. Got them in the jaws. That's hard.
The idea is that you need to stand up and drop your whole body weight on it.
That was hard work. Okay, we're testing the whole metro hydraulic cutters this time. So we clamp them over the wire. That's all good to go, and then we start pumping. Pretty easy, very painless. Piece of cake. An expensive piece of cake, but a piece of cake.
We had the stump secured with one piece of 12mm braid on braid, which has either pulled the cleat off the mast that it was attached to, or it's broken anyway, it's no longer attached. So the whole mast has now gone over the side and headed south. We're just going to clear the deck, get the mainsail out of the way so we can think about retrieving it. We have got a line just below the brake, which we put on earlier. One of the issues we've got is when we bring the mast back up, the head of the mast is still connected to the roller reefing gear and sail. And when we get the sail starts to surface, one, it's got a lot of water in it, which will be heavy, and two, we're not really sure where it's going to go. So we'll go baby footsteps, nice and gently, and take it steady.
This is the shooter, which uses a nail gun charge to fire a piston into a bracket. So that's it primed. Okay. Wow. Well, that was good. Fantastic. Not much of a general purpose tool, but does what it does very well. Stainless steel blade and a hacksaw. Just on this last stay, there's a lot of pressure on it, so I can't really show you what's going on. Okay. That worked pretty well. Old school, effective.
We've got the stump here just below the surface. We're going to try and recover the rig, but we stand a chance of trying to stab the boat as we bring it on up. So if it doesn't look nice, we're just going to dump it back in a drink and try another approach. Right, for those that are proud of their top sides, now's the time to look away. Doesn't really matter, but mind your fingers. Okay, so we've got a bottom section just coming up. The black pieces of metal are the lower spreaders. We can see clearly where it's broken on the weakest point, which is where the lower shrouds are attached to the below the spreaders. We seem to have lost the lower rigging completely. That's on the bottom. Okay, because we're in danger of moving into the VTL. So at the Harbour Master's controlled area, we're going to pass the rig over to the standby boat and get ourselves tidied up before we're in anybody's way.
Back in Hamble Point Marina, we've finished our dismasting test, as you can see. This is all we managed to get back. The rest was taken off by one of the support boats because we spent 2.5 hours getting this on, by which time we're drifting down to the shipping lanes. It was an eventful day. It was certainly windy enough to do what we wanted to do, but there were a few surprises. The first fuses we had were 10mm lengths of GRP batten that we'd replaced the clevis pins with, and the mast wouldn't break. They held up really well. So we had to go around again, replace those with 6mm, I think it was. And they held too. So we ended up accidentally rolling out all the headsail in a bid to just put more pressure on it, and that's what did it. That worked. So we were just grinding that in when the whole thing went over the side. It seemed to happen in slow motion. I mean, we've been trying to get it done for sort of 20 minutes, just spinning around and around. So there, to finally see it go was like, okay, the day's begun. Whereas I'm sure it would be a horrendous experience for anyone else. Certainly it took us 2.5 hours to get this back on board, and this is, there were 6 of us on board, all working on it, so there's no way you'd get it back on just with a couple. It just wouldn't happen. We were all surprised by how much weight there was just in the mast, trying to just manhandle it around, which wasn't possible. We're on the edges of that. So it was power buckling, and it was wrapping lines around it with boat hooks and trying to haul it, winch it back in. It was all of that. It was a surprising amount of work, and as I say, 2.5 hours to get this back. I'm amazed that the mast took an incredible amount of effort to actually break, so it's a very thick section, as you can see. Glad it's over. Everyone's happy and healthy and intact, and yeah, it's a good day. Did everything we needed to do.